Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another segment of Soul Talk. My name is Emeka. So today we are going to discuss on the hypocrisy of feminism. So that's the topic for today. So in our last segment, we focused on feminism and feminazi. So I was able to define what feminism is and what feminazi is and talk about the history of feminism. So today we're going to look at the hypocrisy of feminism because I believe it's something that needs to be discussed. Although the feminism movement is a good movement, like I said, and it's something I identify with, there are some certain developments or trends that has become evident that needs to be addressed so that this movement does not in turn harm women or harm us, men. So feminism, like I said, is the ideology that men and women should be equal in every area of society, politically, economically, every aspect, that men and women should be equal. And there are several kinds of feminism. There is the cultural feminists. So what the cultural feminists are advocating for is for us to encourage feminine behavior rather than be promoting masculine behavior. There's the radical feminists. So what they want is they want a radical change in the sense they want something that would happen that will make men and women become equal. So like some of them advocate for women not giving birth because they believe that giving birth makes women more likely to be underpaid or less likely to be hired. But by not giving birth, they would actually be hired and they will have as much money as men. So there is the social feminists. So what they are advocating for, they claim that the source of inequalities between men and women, it is the capitalist system because the capitalist system benefits from the exploitation of women. So they are advocating for a reform that will bring an end to capitalism and maybe or bring social social change that can put an end to capitalism and in other words maybe create a socialist a communism or socialist movement that will be geared towards equality between men and women. And then we have a liberal feminist. Liberal feminists, they are more interested in women pursuing feminist agenda in their own individual way. That is what makes feminists and liberal feminists kind of interesting. So as a woman, you look for areas of your life where you believe you can channel feminism. And so that's how they look at it. So like I said, today we are going to discuss the hypocrisy of feminism. And if you look at our society today in the West and in Nigeria, you can accept the fact, whether you're a man or woman, you have to accept the fact that women have made some real progress in the world, either economically, politically, in all areas of civil society. They've made huge impacts. So, but in this movement, there are some things that have gotten mixed up, and I will start by saying this. The definition for feminism, like I said, is equality between the sexes. That's the definition of feminism. And when the issue of feminism, or when feminism is defined that way, you have to be an idiot to say you are against feminist agenda. Because if they are saying they are after equality, are you going to be that person that's going to be like, equality? No, I don't want equality. I love inequality. I like you people being under me and I like trampling on women. Nobody's going to say that. So that definition is romantic and it's something that someone can buy, and it's something that it makes you answer in favor of something. Like it's a definition that already is crafted in a way so you choose the side the questioner, the person asking you the question wants. So they claim they want equality in the sexes, but if you look at the changes that have happened in the West and even in Africa, in Nigeria specifically and other African countries, you will see that the feminist agenda is no longer about equality. Majority of them is no longer about equality, it's more about now inequality. What do I mean by that? I mean by inequality in the sense that the women, the people that claim they pursue feminist agenda, they now want to be on top. They don't want to have equal rights with men again. They want to be on top. And why do I say this? You see, in the field of politics, some women are presidents now. There are some countries that have female presidents in the West and in Nigeria, in Africa. Not in Nigeria, sorry. In Africa, there are some women that are presidents. there are several companies that have women CEOs. There are not a lot, but there are women that have women CEOs. Women can go to school, and there are other privileges that women enjoy. So, but the feminists still identify our society, whether the West or in countries like Nigeria or other African countries, as a as countries that are patriarchal in nature, and that is not true, because if we, or let's say for example Nigeria is patriarchal in nature, then women will not be in position of power, because women will not be in position of power, because that will contradict it. Because but if you look around, you see that there are these changes that is happening. Women can go to school now. Before they didn't go to school, a woman can say, oh, I want to be a doctor, and she can go to school, study, and become a doctor. Those things are possible for women now. So when feminists argue the fact, or still press the idea that our system is patriarchal, that is wrong. Because yes, it initially was patriarchal, yes it was, but now certain changes have been made that the whole notion of saying that our society is patriarchal in nature is not correct, because women have advanced far more than they had a long time ago. Okay, another issue that I want to address that I believe is important is women claim that, like I said, they claim that they are moving towards equality, but you can see trends of inequality as they pop up in everyday life. You see, for example, in the cases of divorce, especially in Nigeria, the women get the children, the wife gets the children, the man don't get the children. But feminists will not argue in these areas of saying, okay, see, in the West, yes, the most competent person gets the children, but feminists in Nigeria will not argue for a situation where a man and a woman can get equal custody. They don't argue for a situation whereby a man can also be given the children. They don't argue for that. And again, in cases of divorce, especially in the West, the women get the house. That one is non-negotiable. The woman gets the house, and that is kind of unfair, especially if the man put his money in. Especially if the man paid part of the money for the house, or even if he paid 90 or 80% of the sum for the money. You see, in my personal life, I have seen a situation whereby a man who is living in his house brought a woman to cohabit with him for a few days, for a few months, and then an incident happened, and that man had to leave his own house. In other words, he became homeless because the house was given to the lady. The man was expected to pay the rent of the house, but he cannot sleep in his own house. So that is something that is kind of disturbing, especially if the feminist movement are saying that they are advocating for women's rights. Because those are certain areas where men and women are not even equal. They are not even close to be equal. So this is something that is it shows you that the way the movement is going is moving towards inequality. Okay, and if you look at in the cases of domestic violence, if a violence occurs in the home, the man is often seen as the perpetrator and the woman is seen as the victim. A scenario where a police officer comes into the house and he hears a domestic violence case, the man is usually the one that they look at as the perpetrator, and it doesn't matter if the man is really innocent or if the lady is lying. It doesn't come into play, because a lady can instigate the violence, and then when you hit her, it becomes about, oh, he hit me, he's the bad person. A good example is this. I was in Opalende. Then the man was driving a tricycle, and then a woman got in his way, and he told the woman to get off his way, that he was going somewhere, but the woman did not leave. So they started arguing over something. They started arguing about that, and then the woman slapped him. And then once the woman slapped the man slapped her back and even injured her. So people gathered, and people wanted to, the woman grabbed the guy by the neck, and then people was asking what was going on. People wanted to even beat the man because they saw him slap the woman, and they wanted to injure him. So when they were dragging the man to beat him, the man started saying that, see, I'm not the one at fault. He not explained himself. And what the man said was this: the man said that, see, I am a married man with 2 kids. How can a lady who I don't know just come on the road and just give me a dirty slap for absolutely no reason? Because I told her to get out of the way that I'm driving. She was on the road where I'm driving, and I told her to get out of the way. She slapped me, and then I slapped her back. And so when the The lady was asked, the lady was like, and she doesn't care that yes, she slapped him, but why does he have to hit her and stuff like that. So what I'm trying to say is, in cases of domestic violence, you can see the inequality that men experience. The man is often seen as the instigator, the one that caused the problem, and never, and it's rare for the woman to be seen as the person that starts the problem. And if you look at this incident, if you look at this incident of domestic violence, there's something that's beginning to develop. You will see in situations where the woman usually instigated, maybe by hitting the man, by slapping the man, or by pushing the man, or shoving the man, and then the man is supposed to accept those things, and or when the man now hits the woman or strikes at the woman, then it becomes all of a sudden, oh, that's domestic violence, oh, you're the violent one. Even in my personal life, I've had women push me, shove me, hit me, and then all of a sudden when I hit them back, it's like, oh, no, you never hit a woman, no matter what she does to you, you never hit a woman, oh, no. And this issue of domestic violence is doesn't just hurt, yes, women are victims of domestic violence, at least in the past and sometimes now, but men have become sensitized to that fact that women are victims of domestic violence. But then it is at the cost of the men, because men are victims of domestic violence too. But it looks like when the incident of domestic violence for men come up, is something that is laughable. Is like, okay, for example, when Lorena Barbie cut off her man's penis, it was something that was laughable. Everyone was like, oh, they cut his dick off, oh my god, that's so funny. It is funny because it's not happening to you. But if you were the person that got your dick chopped off, then it's not going to be funny then. Then it becomes something that is real to you. You see, when I was reading this person's book, Richard Kowalski's novel, it was a serial killer, so he wrote a novel. I think it was the novel was Iceman, and then he talked about how he caught his girlfriend cheating, and then he took a knife and sliced up her nipples. When I saw that, I like threw the book on the floor. I'm like, oh my god! And some people that read it after me felt, oh, this is horrible, and this. So when the violence is directed towards women, it becomes a big issue and a big media surround, and everybody's like, oh no. But when it's directed towards men, it's like, it's funny, they cut off his dick, they cut off his dick, can you please, they cut off his dick. And then comedians do that too. Oh, they cut off his dick, oh, they threw it in the bush and then they sewed it back on. Can you how funny it is? Some people like, oh, can his dick work after they sew it back on, or can he get an erection? And it is funny because it's not happening to you. But these are some of the trends that you are seeing. It's like violence towards men is now being tolerated. And there was an experiment, and I'm trying to hammer this thing through. There's an experiment that was conducted, and I watched it on YouTube. It was about a scenario where two couples would sit down, and then one would be hitting the other, and while people walk past by and see how people react. The man and the woman sat down. There were both occasions. The woman was beating the man, slapping him, kicking him. People were just laughing and were walking by with their girlfriend, just giggling. But then, when the man was beating the woman, it's an experiment, it's not real. So when the woman was beating the woman, everybody that passed through there stopped. The women stopped, the men stopped, even both men and women stopped, and the woman took off his shirt, wanted to fight the man, and why would you shove your leg? Why would you slap her? So it's like the women are not seen as the victims, and then we are the evil ones that are perpetrators, and that is where feminism is leading us to now. So that's why I've been hammering this thing. So another avenue where I will talk about, another avenue where the hypocrisy of women really comes out is in the media. You see, in movies nowadays, there's a certain way